Welcome to Personal Finance and Financial Decision Making. This course is ECO 110, and today I'm just going to go through the syllabus like I would on the first day of class, but since this is entirely online, we do not have a first day of class. So, here we go. My name is Jessica Scheld. I am going to be your instructor this fall. My email is jsheld@econ.rutgers.edu. Feel free to email as much as necessary. My office is on 75 Hamilton Street, room 408, so that's up in the 4th floor. And my office hours tentatively will be Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 4 p.m. I'm also, of course, available by appointment, although Tuesdays and Thursdays will generally be the easiest days to get me in person. Some important dates, just to kind of go through these quickly. The last day to drop without a W grade will be September 11th. The last day to add classes is September 12th. Last day to drop with a W will be October 27th. That will be after our first exam, but before the second, so just keep that in mind. The last day of classes is December 11th, and then reading days and our final exam. So our final exam is currently to be determined. I do not have information on the room or date or time yet, but as soon as I know, I am happy to let you guys know. But that information will be forthcoming via Sakai. So a quick bit of description on the course. So the focus on this class is to give you some basic tools of financial planning. So ideas about future value of money, so how much you can earn in terms of savings or how much you have to plan to pay off student debt, that kind of thing. Some information about insurance, borrowing, some tax planning, and how to manage your money. So all of these kinds of little tools to help you use your money the best way you can. I wish I had taken a class like this when I was your age. The goal of this class is to basically increase your financial literacy and to give you some skills to kind of go forward as you graduate and enter your own lives. So a couple of topics we'll deal with in this class. Time value of money, so that's going to be dealing with savings versus savings and investment versus debt, and how much it will take to pay something off, like a student loan or a car payment. Budgeting and saving, and how to save versus how much your daily coffee adds up to in a year, that kind of thing. Credit card debt, debit cards, dealing with those. Cars, whether we should purchase or lease a car. And then other forms of debt. So we've got mortgages, student loans, all those kinds of debt that we could get ourselves into, and how to best deal with it. Insurance, so when we're talking about home insurance, auto insurance, health insurance, disability insurance, there are all sorts of different kinds of insurances, and you want to be a little bit more aware of what you're working with. And then we'll get into some investments, so futures and options, a little bit on annuities. And lastly, we'll talk about retirement planning, which may seem really far off in the future, but the earlier you get started with retirement planning, the better off you'll be. Okay, just a couple of quick little things. This course does not count towards the economics major or minor. It does not count towards your major or minor in economics. It does count towards your core curriculum learning goals, so that's one reason why you could want to take this class, even though it doesn't count for your econ major, but it's also just a great class to kind of get some basic tools going forward. And you will, unfortunately for some, have to do a little bit of math in this class. Not too much, though. So the structure of the class, every week there will be some uploaded lectures. So some of them will be by me, so you'll hear my voice sometimes, but some of them will be by Professor Prusha, who taught this course last year. Some of the lectures will still be his voice on there, as far as the voiceovers. So if you hear a male voice, that is not me. So we'll do about one chapter per week on average, and a little bit slower towards the beginning to kind of make sure that everybody's gotten on board with everything. But I'll be posting and or showing some extra PowerPoint slides one chapter per week. As far as assessment is concerned, you will have homeworks. So every chapter will have a homework assigned with it. It works about one homework per week for the 15-week course. So the homework will be comprised of a Learn Smart module. So that will be kind of like smart flashcards that kind of ask you some questions, more vocabulary based. And it's more of like an online study guide that kind of learns what you're good at and what you need some extra time working with. So it can be a really good tool for studying vocabulary. And then also there'll be weekly problem sets. So each chapter will be assigned about 4 to 5 questions as far as a problem set. And I will also post practice problem sets as well. So the practice set will usually have more like 10 questions associated with it, of which 5 or so will be picked for graded questions. So before you email me with a question about a graded problem, I'm probably going to ask you if you've tried the practice set first. So that will usually be where I suggest that you start if you're having trouble with the graded problems. And also it'll be a great place to practice as far as studying for exams and the final. So that'll be 10%. So basically every chapter you'll have a problem set and a Learn Smart module that you'll need to work on. And that'll get average for your week 1 grade, right? And so then over the course of the 14 chapters, you'll get 14 different chapter grades. Your lowest 2 will get dropped. So if you forgot 1 week to do your homework, that week you could get dropped. I wouldn't suggest planning on the first 2 weeks being those, but if something comes up, things do happen, then this will kind of alleviate that stress a bit. But keep in mind, if you forgot to do Learn Smart but did the problem set, you can't just pick and choose. It's week 1 gets dropped or week 7 gets dropped. You can't say week 1 my Learn Smart gets dropped, but week 7 my problem set gets dropped. It doesn't work like that. As far as midterms go, there will be 2 exams. Okay, one will be on October 15th, and the other will be on November 12th. Those are both Wednesdays, and so these will be 20% of your grade. We'll talk a little bit more about those in a few minutes, but that'll make up 40%, those midterms. And then your final exam will be 50%. That's an on-campus final exam. So your midterms will be an online portion. They'll be through Connect, but the final exam will be a paper and pencil regular final exam like normally taken. All right, so your problem sets. Okay, so I kind of already went through a lot of this. Every chapter will have a Learn Smart study guide, 35 to 40 minutes about per chapter, or until you get to 100%, either one, whichever comes first. And then the graded problem set. So you should be doing the practice problems before the graded problems if you're struggling at all with the graded problems. These all are submitted online. None of this will be in paper or email or any of that, so it'll all be through Connect. The midterm exams. So there will be 2 online midterm exams. Again, the October 15th will be chapters 1 through 4, and November 12th will be chapters 5 through 8. These will be set up in the form of a 24-hour window in which you can do the tests. So that just means that I will open it, on October 15th, and it'll run for 24 hours. You can take the exam at any point in that 24-hour window. But once you start it, you will only have 60 minutes to finish. So you can't pause the exam, right, to go get some food or go to the gym. You have to take it for that full hour. The time clock will run out if you don't finish it up. So you really need to make sure you can block out a full 60 minutes. There's nothing I can do to backtrack that. So just make sure you're very careful to block out the 60 minutes that you're going to need. And late tests receive no credit. So once that 24-hour window is up, there's nothing I can do to fix that. So make sure that you can block out an hour to go. Again, and if you start the exam, when there's only 30 minutes left in the 24 block, you'll only get 30 minutes to start. It doesn't, you have to start within the 24-hour window, but it'll cut you off if you go through the 24-hour window. They're open book, open notes. You must work on your own rather. You can use a calculator on the midterm exams. This will be different than the final, so you don't want to rely too much on the book and the notes because you won't have those on the final. But you will be able to use open book, open notes on the midterm exams. Okay, so the final exam. Final exam is cumulative. It has no calculators allowed, so there'll be no notes, no calculators. So you want to make sure you're very prepared for this final exam. It'll be given on the New Brunswick campus during regular Rutgers exam period. I do not know the exact time or date yet, but I will let you guys know as soon as I know. There will be an online version of the final exam that will be possible. If you require the online exam, that's okay. I will need to know whether or not you will need the online exam by Friday, October 17th. It is about $50 to take the online final exam because we have to pay somebody to watch you, basically, pay a proctor to make sure that you are not cheating. And so it does cost about $50 to do that. So if you're off campus or if you're a commuter, this may be a better option for you than taking the in-class exam, although I do not suggest that you do it if you are a typical Rutgers student and on campus during the final exam period. All right, so extra credit. So there are going to be 2 extra credit options. One of them is going to be an ungraded quiz at the beginning and the end. It's basically just to kind of gauge where you're at. It doesn't, the grade that you get on the quiz won't matter to your extra credit, but if you take the quiz at the beginning of the semester and then again at the end of the semester, you'll get 3 extra credit points. That's one extra credit option. You could also, in conjunction or participate in a book club. So at right around midterm 1, I will post some information about the book club, and that will basically be a book on personal finance that I choose. That I will post some questions every week that are kind of thought questions that you guys will need to respond to in the Sakai chat room, not the chat room, on Sakai. And basically to kind of get conversation flowing, we need to have at least 5 students to go. But it'll require you to read the book and answer to post your response to the question that I posed, and also to answer responses that your classmates pose. So it doesn't take too much effort, but will require a 4 to 5 week period of answering questions for the book club. And if you successfully complete this, you'll get up to 5 extra credit points. So what that means is that someone who writes thought-provoking responses to my questions and also to their classmates' questions for the full 4 weeks will get the 5 extra credit points. But if you only respond once or twice, then you'll only get 1 extra credit point, that kind of thing. Okay, so required materials. So our required materials are, first, the Focus on Personal Finance book. It's the 4th edition now. That's the newest version. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute. And then the Connect. So Connect is the online system that will have both your midterms and your homework assignments. And so it's absolutely imperative that you have this in order to participate in the class. You cannot get through this class without being on Connect. So you must have this. The earlier the better. And then thirdly, access to a spreadsheet or a calculator would be helpful for the course. Not 100% necessary, but definitely I assume that you have a working knowledge of spreadsheets. So the textbook is Focus on Personal Finance. Be careful not to get just personal finance. It's important that you get the Focus on Personal Finance. It's cheaper and a little shorter. There's a used version as well. The 3rd edition is fine. It's not too different. You could buy it new though, paper book or 3-hole punch that's shrink wrapped. Either one of those is fine. Or you could get the ebook, and that'll come with Connect Plus. So either one is fine. I would suggest getting the used version as long as you're careful about getting the correct book, so you don't want to waste your money. And one just quick note about the 3-hole punch. you get the 3-hole punch book, you can't resell that to any of the bookstores. You just want to be careful about that. So this slide just gives you a couple of visuals about the books. The book on the left is the 3rd edition, and the book on the right is the 4th edition. Again, either one of these is fine. Just make sure that you look for the Focus on Personal Finance. All right, there are lots of personal finance books out there, and you want to make sure you get the right one. So Connect. Connect is going to be our online assessment and assignment software. So you could either get Connect or Connect Plus. Connect Plus is what allows you access to the ebook, but otherwise there is no difference. Either one is fine. Connect Plus is just a little bit more expensive because it includes the ebook. So what to do? How do we get Connect? So first you need to buy your book, or if you're getting a used book, or you buy it off Amazon, it doesn't come with the Connect access code. You can just buy it directly from McGraw-Hill. So you go to the website and you can take a look there. You'll see this slide for Connect. You go to the website and you'll see either you have a registration code on the left where you'd plug that in if you buy your book new, or if you don't have a code, you can buy it online. So you could, if you don't buy your book new, you can go to the right hand side right here and you would buy your access code online. Or if you really want to, you could try do a free trial first. You just want to make sure that eventually you buy it, because if you miss a homework because you didn't buy Connect in time, that's not, that will count for one of your missed homework assignments, but that's not going to be a viable option as far as a missed homework assignment. That doesn't count as an excuse. So you just want to make sure you're careful about that. Or running out on the free trial as a midterm happens. You certainly don't want that to happen. So I would just be careful about the free trial if you go that route. Thank you for listening.